Today, yes today, we find ourselves all equally blessed on this journey through greater and lesser evils. Join us as we explore the hard realities and uncomfortable truths plaguing our society. So without any further ado, let's jump right in and rip this bandit off together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Greater Lesser Evils. As always, this is Nitro. I'm joined with the Tankalicious and Xavier. How are we doing today, boys?
I'm great.
Is that a thing? Do people still make that noise?
I mean, they do now. We can start the trend. I'm down with it. You know, we can go across the entire board and make this whole thing start. If you guys are joining us, you're here for interaction, you're here for stories, you're here for real life as it applies to movies. We're going to sit here and we're going to talk, and we got one topic of the day, and it's a big giant topic. At least the topic starts off as a big giant one. It is the Barbie movie. Gentlemen, what do you feel about the Barbie movie?
Barbie? I didn't get it at all. There was a lot of woman-splaining in there that I needed, honestly. For myself. I don't consider myself, like a toxic male, but I do watch football. I eat nachos. So for something like this movie, to even start and be like, millions of years ago, women were forced to play with dolls.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, really? Oh man, I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah,
they didn't want to jump in mud puddles with me.
I mean, we haven't even hit on it though. It is Mel Brooks, almost like History of the World-esque, History of the World type thing with Mel Brooks. It's got that power to it. But let's go ahead and go over the data sheet if you want to go to read that data sheet.
So, Barbie was starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, directed by Greta Gerwig, written also by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. The staggering box office take was $1.4 billion.
That's amazing.
There was something about the budget, though. $145 million, including another $150 million promoting the movie.
Yeah, they spent a lot. They put that movie out there.
Yeah, that was a lot. But I mean, at $1.4 billion, it seems like that was money well spent.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers definitely needs that. So just another thing to hit up for award season coming up. It's nominated for 8 Oscars. We got a Best Picture nod for it. Best Supporting Actor, Ryan Gosling. Best Supporting Actress, American Ferrera. Yes, they did not nominate the lead actress.
Margot Robbie, and for me, that's so very fitting in a woman's empowerment style movie, because I know there was a lot of mixed reviews on this movie that I just wasn't understanding.
Well, no. So the way I see it is like, it's not so much it was mixed reviews. So I will put it as when you see this movie. So So let's jump this out here right now.
I remember a lot of whining.
I don't think this movie really needs to be like rehashed as what happened in this movie. If you listen to the review, you probably saw the movie or you were thinking about seeing this movie. All right, But we will just get this out of the way and say we're going to spoil this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Oh, yeah, spoilers across the board.
We are spoilers to movies. We don't bother to care whether or not you saw it, but if
Han
you listen
Solo
to this,
dies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Also, if you were in the movie theater with us, I apologize right now.
Is that a different movie, Xavier?
No, Han Solo does die in this movie.
I'm so sorry.
He does die in Ken's Casa Mojo Jojo. He dies inside of things in our hearts.
Han didn't make it through. Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, and Han didn't make it either. Yeah. If anybody else is wondering.
All right, just to finish out the data sheet. Best Supporting Actress, like I said, American Ferrera. Best Screenplay. No Best Director nod also. Best Production, Best Costume, and Best Score ×2. And my favorite song out of this movie.
And I don't blame the people that nominate in a situation like that, because there were a lot of great movies, honestly, this year. If you look at like Oppenheimer, obviously Barbie belongs on this list for many, many reasons. I do enjoy the fact that, I personally thought it didn't take itself too seriously. So if I was able to turn my brain off and simply enjoy it, but I remember there being some reviews for like the super toxic male that was just like, oh, this is so emasculating.
Exactly.
I'm like,
and that's what I was getting down to, right? So the issue with this movie is for those who are listening to my voice right now, understand that if you're a man, you need to watch Barbie. This is a fact.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah, you need to watch Barbie, not because of the idea behind like what they wanted to make in this movie, but it was the I'm gonna call it smelling their own farts.
Yeah.
That they didn't know they actually made a valid point against the characters of this, not only the characters of the movie, but the archetype of these individuals or these type of females.
Yeah. Where we started versus where we've ended.
Exactly.
You know, I think, you know, and it doesn't matter about all the mistakes we've made along the way. You know, because one of my favorite parts in this movie was when the little girl was actually woman-splaining, you know, like this was bad, you know, and you know, we should have had doctor dolls or doctor this, or we should have done that, you know, instead. And I needed that because I never really, you know, keyed in on any of those things, even raising a daughter. I did let her choose, you know, but it was the choices I gave her. Did you want Care Bears? Or ballerina doll, you know, because you're a girl, and she didn't pick Barbies. She actually picked Monster High dolls. Yeah, you know, and then she bit all the hands off of them. So I also was very curious if I was raising a baby Dexter. I was, you know, as these things move along, but being able to make those choices along the way, that there should have been more than just Barbie. You know, there should have been more than these things, but we have that today because of where we came from, and all the little innuendos, and I think the jokes hit in the movie really well. And I know you're gonna say some things about Ryan Gosling's character.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about Ken. I mean, honestly, I'm ashamed that I'm just Ken Enough shirts never arrived. They got lost somewhere, and then they're like, we have no more left. Like, we would have worn those sweatshirts. I'd be wearing it right now in this video, saying that just Ken Enough.
He means just he.
I'm sure you'd hook a brother up. With that being said, let's go ahead and start with the rundown here a little bit. Like I said, we're going to, Xavier said, we're going to go ahead and run through it as fast as possible on some parts. We're going to do what we do. We're going to spice it up. We're going to glam it up. We're going to talk about some serious stuff.
Just so he doesn't turn green and flip this table over. I know there's some sore subjects that I'm excited to explore.
Yeah, this is going to be...
I just didn't get the outrage.
Put your seatbelts on.
I thought it was a funny...
Seatbelts.
I didn't find it threatening to my own masculinity or anything like that.
Because you're a man. That's basically it.
Well, thanks.
You're a man.
But I guess I could see, you know, for some that are toxic to the fear of being emasculated, you know, why they would take offense to a movie like this. Because I'm more than just a Ken. Well, of course, I'm sure you are. You know, but if all you're doing is pull-ups all day and, you know, looking for the attention of Margot Robbie, I'd really like to be her Ken too. Don't get me wrong.
We haven't brought up politics yet in anything that we talked about, but I'm telling you again, the right very much got mad at this movie more than I think it necessarily shouldn't have. Well, I understand some of your things that we're definitely going to hit on here.
Okay, but I was just
foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not about. So we're not. It's not about the right. It's not about the left. This was about. We'll call it. A universal conservative effort in order to...
you know what the word conservative means, right?
No, we don't mean when we're saying this time we're using the term conserve.
Sure, I didn't know.
We mean as to conserve water, conserve like we're using the term conserve as in what is meant to be used as, which is like a way to hold a thing or hold a thing back, right? Conserve, not political speak, all right?
Saving.
Yes, as in saving, conservation, all right? But
the whole learn more words, Nitro.
Exactly.
Vote Xavier.
Learn more words, Nitro.
But the point behind it, but the point behind it was
kind of gorilla over here.
But a lot of people who were a lot of people who were outraged.
Right.
A lot of people who were outraged about this. What they saw was what they believed to be a way to undermine society as a whole through a movie. A movie about a doll. Okay, a doll with What can be considered as?
Hold on. While you're talking about these dolls, do you know how much that they've actually sold of these dolls?
The new or total?
Since 1959, if that's when Barbie came out. You're bringing up the dolls.
Probably 300 million.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely in the tens of millions.
It's over $1 billion. Over $1 billion Barbies have been sold about that. You're talking about dolls and commercials, and with that being said, how about, what do you think the most expensive Barbie ever sold? In an auction now, what do you think it is?
Well, if it follows the trend of other toys like Star Wars and things like that, it's got to be 50 or 50,000, 100,000, something around there for like Barbie 1. I would say it's got to be six figures.
I was the same way, something like that.
So, excuse me. First of all, the number one doll ever sold in the world, not just Barbie, was a Le Soleil doll that I'll show you a picture of that went for $6.25 million.
What is that?
It is a designer doll.
You said this is a doll. Is this Barbie?
No, this is just okay. Doll in general. I'm gonna get Barbie.
Like an American Sister doll.
Okay.
Whatever those things are called. What?
I'll show you a picture of what the doll actually looks like.
You know, they had friends and things.
It's just a regular looking weird French doll. Okay. I'll show you a picture of it here momentarily.
Okay.
But the number one all-time selling Barbie was the Stefano Centauri Barbie that came out in 2010, and it sold for $302,000. Now,
302,000.
What was special about this Barbie is had 3 carats of a diamond necklace and 1 carat of a pink diamond in it.
That's not fair. You know what? I could put the Hope Diamond in some mashed potatoes and be like, this is the most expensive meal anybody's ever had. What about the Barbie? What about just the original Barbies that they did? Yeah,
like
just the original,
like normal Barbie. What's the highest Barbie ever been sold there?
Right.
I actually do have that information as well. Barbie number 1, the 1959 edition, the Margot Robbie, the big giant Barbie that came on the screen to start your thing, the exact look-alike of what she looks there.
Yeah.
Went for $27,450.
Okay, wow, that's still a lot of money.
That's the harvest. That's the normal Barbie that actually came out.
Quote unquote.
Yeah,
normal Barbie.
You see it in food these days now. You know, I've got a $10,000 steak because they gold plated it and they put some foie gras.
Are you really anti that gold plating?
And yeah,
gold tastes good.
And like some J-Lo breast milk went on it, and they're just like, because it's so rare. Like, man, don't get me wrong, I would eat that steak because J-Lo had something to do with it. But for me, like, it's not like rare unicorn, or some kind of.
What if it was unicorn? What if you were a unicorn?
I would try it.
I would eat unicorn.
That's on topic. Let's keep it going.
This is completely on topic.
Let's keep going forward.
All right. So
I don't like fake records. Is all I'm really saying. You can dress anything up to be
that's
fake.
fair.
I don't like fake records.
I got it. You're right. I could throw a diamond on
$30,000 Barbie
for
is
a doll.
super expensive.
Yeah, ridiculously
Kudos
expensive.
to the Barbie line.
More power to them. But it shows the success. $1 billion sold.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's at first I had an issue with a giant Margot Robbie. Of course, is one of the most attractive things ever. And again, 50-foot woman things. Daryl Hannah flashed in my eyes watching.
Focus.
I might buy a giant Margot Robbie for science.
Let's keep focusing.
We're trying to focus. We're getting through the male masculinity parts here.
Let's focus.
All right. So before we unfocus, I'm going to focus. What dolls did you play with as a kid? Since Barbie is a big doll, Mattel. This is all about. It's the same thing with TV and animation.
Yeah.
This is all to sell us more dolls. So what dolls did the Tankalicious play?
I was really poor, so I had to play with my friends. He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers, Star Wars was definitely, and the really expensive one where the Darth Vader where the lightsaber came out of his arm. Well, I was really young, and I probably ate 7 of those, and we had known that they weren't going to be worth as much as they were now. They probably wouldn't have let me eat those when I was so young, but Star Wars, He-Man, I couldn't, even in my area, nobody could afford G.I. Joe, so those were unattainable. Those were for the rich kids up the street.
Fair.
Yeah.
What you got?
About you, Xavier?
We'll just keep going.
You don't got anything with that?
Yeah, we'll just keep going.
All right. Well, I had the G.I. Joes. No. I had the G.I. Joes with the Kung Fu grip. I had the big G.I. Joes where you could they had the beard and everything like that. And you could
say that.
And we had that red outfit right there and stuff like that. He-Man,
tantrum in Toys R Us because he didn't get one.
And you know what?
He pulled down all of aisle 6 until his mom said, "Fine, just get him the toy."
Of all these masculine toys I had, what females did we actually have? Now, like Lady J and some of the G.I. Joe characters have definitely... She wasn't sexualized back then, though. Yeah. She wasn't sexualized either.
Chitara.
She was like... Chitara had a buoy. Chitara had a buey. Mm-hmm. But she had had a weird thing going with the guy that had the weird...
No, she didn't. No, Chitara was Chitara.
Just Chitara.
No, she's very plain looking.
Are you crazy?
You
think Chitara looks normal?
She had the things.
There's no way.
Oh, she's a female cheetah, so there's
long legs and...
Really?
No, Chitara was smoking.
Yeah, man.
Okay, the only doll we had was the old Barbie before they changed proportions that looked like a
only time I've been attracted to an animal. Chitara was fabulous.
Hold on, if we're gonna go Doctor with Island Monroe, and Chitara's sitting right here. And I'm a single man. I'm going
no, it's still gross. I'm just saying I understand
I'm just saying.
Let's focus on the movie.
He's too good wants to focus on the movie.
Margot Robbie.
Xavier taking us all the way.
That's what I'm saying. Let's keep going.
All right. So I may have said this once before, but I really enjoyed the babies getting their head smashed in the movie. I may have said punching a baby was fine, and someone had to correct me on some previous cast. I'm not sure when I would have said this.
When did this happen in this movie? I don't remember that part.
In the beginning, when the big giant doll comes up, they all get mad at their dolls, and they just go psycho with the dolls. And they start bashing their dolls.
I did not find any hidden meaning there. I just honestly thought that they were just getting rid of dolls.
But just to bring it up,
they punched a baby in the head.
But my point is this is yet another feminist movie.
Yeah.
That happens to bring up smashing a baby.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
What's the symbolism behind
I just thought it was getting rid of bad.
There's no symbolism behind it. Like you think to yourself whatever you want. I mean, people can come to their own assumption, but that seems to be a going thing.
Yeah.
All right. One is don't get married. 2 is don't have babies.
Yeah.
Because babies weigh you down. Right.
Or let you down.
However you want to see it.
So
for me, I just turned my brain off on this movie, and I just thought there was just a lot of good jokes that hit. Everything was pink.
And see, that's what I'm saying.
So there's triggers. I don't want to say triggers because I know triggers are real, and I'm not saying the people out there that aren't triggered. I'm not triggered. I'm not that guy. But there are things that definitely hit when I certain these lines, and they're going to come up here. So Barbie basically starts, and they bash the dolls, and then they start introducing all the Barbies and Barbie Land, and they walk you through the whole thing about her going through it. But then the scenery is actually absolutely gorgeous. The pink is all that. I really think it's a strong contender for anything to do with best costume, best cinematography.
Yeah,
it's got a pretty much a decent win right there going through. All the costumes are beautiful. They're vibrant. It feels like dolls. At no time in this movie does the costumes not fit. They give Margot Robbie 19,000 different outfits she's in every single scene, and she changes, and they make it a point to actually going through it. With that being said, when they hit the actual lost scene. That feminist movie. Now, there's a direct quote she comes up, and she's talking about logic or emotion, that she's making a decision based on logic and emotion at the same time, and she's okay with it, which again goes back to exactly what we talked about. Now, to me, this hit, and I had to look it up. What do you think the tendency of the human mind makes a decision based on, logic or emotion?
Those are my only 2 choices.
Only 2 choices.
I really feel like instinct, but logic or emotion?
Yeah. If you're making a decision to eat that steak, is it based on logic or that steak with J-Lo's breast milk?
It's emotion. 100% emotion.
That's no longer emotion. That's a primal.
Yeah, primal.
That's a primal urge.
Primal urges.
Yeah.
are definitely
that's an emotion. That's an emotion. That is an emotion.
Absolutely an emotion.
That's
I think,
an emotion.
And that's why like I don't think it's fair to just say like women are emotional. And I know movies like this.
We're gonna base that. We'll go to that segment. But what do you think the percentage of decisions are made on logic or emotion?
I'd say emotion. I'd say emotion. Honestly,
Xavier.
We'll say emotion.
Okay, so there's conflicting studies out there, but one of the studies made by Arthur Lefford came up with 90% of all decisions made by both sexes are based on emotion.
Boom!
And then we use logic to justify it to ourselves.
I'm right, because I'm a man.
We use logic to justify it to ourselves. But one of those subjects alone right there that's an unnecessary line for me that is in the movie, not for us, but it's in a movie to make a point that really shouldn't be that counterpoint of what we're going with the movie, right?
Right. That women can be both logical and emotional at the same time.
Yeah.
They can make a decision using both logic and emotion.
Yeah, and everyone.
But I didn't need a movie to tell me that.
Isn't that a stereotype? Wouldn't that be sexist? Reverse sexism?
Well, I mean, I guess in the whatever context it was given to you, if it was given to you by an ape, then yeah, I mean. You're not mansplain everything to me. I mean, and when people say something like that, I go, mansplaining is just short for man explaining. So, I mean, but I don't need, the uproar that were to come with something like that, especially if you're giving me logical facts. Like, did you know the water is wet? Yeah, typical man. I didn't feel any of that. I just thought it was a really funny movie with funny jokes that poked fun at masculinity and femininity.
Exactly.
Femininity at the same time.
But what do you think that line's poking at? That's the line that gets you home and doesn't get you laid. That's the line if you refer to with your date and you go, "Oh, I can't make decisions on logic."
Well, I mean, if you're one of those people that's constantly looking for a fight. But in a date night, at a movie like this, I would hope that, both people were just like, that was a pretty funny movie. I don't feel like this movie threatened my masculinity the far right, were trying to say like, a movie like this is poison for the mind. I just don't. I just thought it was a really funny movie, that pokes fun at. Gender genders. If
the next live action He-Man movie with Chris Hemsworth as He-Man comes out and it does masculine stuff, I'm gonna have the same exact review on the opposite side. Like, why do we have to go with all this ultra masculinity to do it? We can do ultra masculinity
and not the cartoon, right?
Of course.
But I just want the things that they're making to be true to what they were. How they were intended to be given to you. So if it was supposed to be an overly masculine movie, well, then like the movie 300.
Yeah.
A movie like that really is about, leadership.
That's all testosterone.
It really is.
That movie was 100% testosterone.
Yeah, it made me feel really bad about myself. I've never had abs. I was born without abs. I was born with 15 pounds of mashed potatoes for my midsection. So, like a movie like that, really, really hits home that I'm not man enough. I would have been thrown off of that mountain.
It's the mashed potatoes.
Yeah. It's mashed too. Not even the good ones.
No J-Lo breast milk in those mashed potatoes.
Not a single bit.
So 300 to me resonates as a movie written for men, but women can go and stare at it and be like, oh, this story was so amazing the entire time. While they're just sitting there watching all that masculinity.
But so you think Barbie was made just for women?
No, actually, I think.
Do you think it was made as a warning for men?
I agree with TK.
Yeah.
I think what Greta Gerwig didn't realize when she actually made this movie was she was making a public service announcement for all men that needed to watch. And on some level,
what was the message I was supposed to get from this movie? Because I just kind of thought it was funny.
That you're Ken and you're just enough.
That you're Ken and you're just enough.
Yeah, you're just Ken enough.
Just Ken enough.
Do you know in the movie, the line? Well, we'll touch on it when we go. The just Ken enough.
Yeah, I definitely didn't catch because all the Kens are Ken as well, right? And
correct.
they're all
beach.
Well, yeah, but no, they're all vying for Barbie's affection.
So this is the weird part about that. There's only one Ken that's vying for the Barbie's affection. The other Barbies like the Kens.
Yeah, Barbie, look what I can do.
Yeah, so that's the catch.
Right.
Ken is, hold on, let me double back. We'll double that in a second. Let's start with Alan.
Look what I can do.
The Alan character, right? You know that the Alan character actually married Midge, which is the pregnant character that they show up. Alan's the baby daddy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Michael Cera is the baby daddy of Midge, and they actually have twins. And they came out with a video retrospective or a drawing in '91 where they have children. So they don't talk about it, but Alan is the baby daddy of Midge. And then when you see in the movie, when you go through it. All right, so Ken. Oh, man. You bring up Ken and some of the things we do to impress women. So, and I'll go first if you want me to. But there's a lot of dumb stuff that I can think of in my head that I would never have done to find, not to find, but to have the opposite sex find me more attractive, or maybe win over that one woman that I want.
Climb trees and, hunt and bring things home. I mean, if you're talking about like typical male, the things in the caveman days that used to attract men to women and women to men.
No, so
or are you just talking about this?
No, I think the thing we have to stick with this movie is that we have to keep this movie in modern day era. They call them modern audiences, right?
Sure.
So we can't go past a certain. You know what? We can't go back more than I think it's 10 years. 10 years about far as back you go.
Even with something like that, I mean, proving that you're a good provider, that you might be a good, husband to children, be a good father, things like that would probably, attract the opposite sex, and vice versa. You might be a good mother, or you might be, I mean, good at something. You have to have some sort of desirable skill.
At the expense of me never getting laid again by my future wife, I would say that every day I'm with her, it's try to win her over more, but maybe not in the same pathetic ways that Ken does, without the self-confidence and all that.
But that's stuff. The thing. Like, those are just exaggerated things, that I hope nobody actually took so seriously. Why they were like, we have to hire a priest and exorcise this movie because it's just. It's just too much for this era of man to handle. I didn't find anything in this movie offensive to me. I just thought it was all pretty funny and stereotypical, playing on stereotypes, where it didn't take itself too seriously. Right. Which is why in a movie like this, I turn my brain off and I just enjoy it for what it is.
Where do the Kens live?
Wait, so
on the beach.
Okay, go ahead.
No, so like the reason. So the reason why I say like every man should watch this movie, right? And I'll tell you like why most people were talking more about this movie, but the point is like this movie has more to do with how do I say it has a lot to do with how not only how the Kens are treated, but it has more to do with Barbie in this movie is the villain, okay? The Barbies are the villain of this movie. So this is supposed to be, it's not supposed to take itself seriously, which is what you really like. You like the jokes about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has all the fluffy parts.
Right.
But there's a what do you call it? A deep gravy layer that's mixed in with the ice cream. All right. You don't eat ice cream with gravy.
Yeah.
All right. So that you immediately taste it.
If you have, please comment below.
Exactly. Yeah. But but you don't mix ice cream with gravy because it doesn't go right. Yeah. You like ice cream with mashed potatoes, right? Sure. That's what I'm saying. But it's once you get through the ice cream that you start getting to the actual gravy part, which is the part you go, wait, something doesn't taste right at first, right?
Yeah.
And this is the part where this is how Ryan Gosling got nominated, as the best male supporting role, right? Is that what they call?
Yes,
best male supporting role.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, this movie is called Barbie, but this movie really is about Ken. Because in this movie, right, this movie was inadvertently so focused on supposed to be Barbie that what it actually showed was how selfish not only Barbie was, but how she managed to not only care about no one else, In this movie, Barbie actually honestly didn't care about anybody. Her whole thing was about herself. Even the end of this movie was about taking care of herself. And this is supposed to be a role model for a girl?
You don't think she gathers feelings for the mom and the child as they go through?
And no, she doesn't care about kids. There's nothing at all feminine about this particular Barbie. I'm saying this right now. There's nothing feminine about this Barbie outside the fact she has pretty clothes.
Stereotypical Barbies who we're talking about.
Exactly. Besides her having on pretty clothes, and she's a beautiful woman. No one is like taking that away. There is nothing at all feminine about Barbie. Barbie, everything. See, it's the whole idea. It's the school calls the yin and the yang of society as a whole, the yin and yang of the universe, right? What was supposed to happen is for every bad part, there's a good part. For light, there is dark. Yeah, and that's how man and woman go.
Counterbalance.
Exactly. And this movie, when you hear about Barbie, everybody knows for Barbie there is a Ken, right?
Sure.
But instead, what the movie does is it tosses aside.
Can I stop there for 1 second?
Go ahead.
So back to what you were talking about. All the other Kens get along with their Barbies. They have no the great actor Ken from Secret Invasion, who's
I didn't pick up on that either. Yeah,
that's all right.
Simu is fine with him. The fat Ken, who's the more country looking Ken. Sorry if I called you fat, brother. You play a great guitar. We don't fat shame here. No fat shaming. At least not on this episode. You can't fat shame on Barbie. I mean, anyway. But all the rest of the Kens coexist with their Barbies. Ryan Gosling's does not.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Barbie has a brain. Ken does not. Ken is still in his doll world.
But see, that's the whole idea. It's not Ken, technically speaking, would represent what would be a basic man, right?
And Ryan Gosling is not a basic man. Though. Let's just state that for the record.
So what I'm saying, he's like he represents, because at the end of the day, just think about all the wars we fought in this world. Think about the inventions that were made. Air conditioning, toilets, whatever the case is. All these things were meant and built for women. Okay.
What?
Yes. It sounds crazy. Think of it.
I think they were built for human comfort.
No,
I don't think they were built just for women.
Why is the men's bathroom so much worse than females, though?
I don't know. You can't say that.
Tell me one.
You can't say that because I actually use a clean bathroom.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm telling you right now, female bathrooms disgusting.
I was gonna say they look like
they're gross. That's the whole. We're not gonna go there. Because I know we were about to say a murder scene.
Yeah.
They're like an actual murder scene mixed in with some street sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like street fights.
Yeah.
A real street fights going on there. And I'm saying right now, that's not a beautiful
and
thing.
their Dookies rival Bigfoot.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a giant pile of anything in the woods, it might have been a woman.
Yeah. But the point is that
was a girl bear.
Yeah. So the point is that this movie actually is promoting a villain. That's all I'm saying. Not only is it promoting the villain, but because the problem with the Barbie movie is it's the modern time issue, right? If this had been if the Ken was still the Ken in the movie in like, let's call it the 80s, right? And Barbie was still Barbie in the 80s. This movie would have been like, I call it like easily. You could go watch the movie, no problem. We could all laugh it all off. But the problem is they had we'll call it what they call today, a modern woman mixed in with a classic man. And yet the contradictions in this movie were just amazing. Like, she was unaware of sexuality, and yet she was aware that she was a sexual object.
And aware of anxiety. Originally.
I mean, you're talking about some contradiction, but look, you only have an hour and a half. How long was this movie?
2 hours.
This movie was 2 hours, man.
2 hours plus.
2 hours to tell a story. So people talk about, plot hole this, and
this movie didn't have plot. Honestly, this movie didn't have plot holes.
The plot moved. Like, it told a story. Don't get me wrong. It definitely told a story.
Of course, there's going to be some contradictory, because maybe they're just trying to highlight the point that there is a struggle inside of Barbie, and that's why there might be some controversy or contradictory something. Maybe that was what that emphasis was supposed to be for, because I found nothing. Again, turned my brain off, watched it, some of the jokes, but at the same time with that, I don't remember a single joke that was told. I just remember laughing a lot inside the movie, because for me it was forgettable. I watched the movie. A woman had to explain to me what I was supposed to get out of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's great!" And now we're gonna order pizza, And I just didn't feel like threatened in any way, shape, or
and see,
form.
that's what I mean. And this is I don't know if you noticed, but I like watching action cartoons, right? So I've been watching cartoons as an adult.
Yeah.
I probably never stopped watching cartoons.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm only saying this to say that this is what people were talking about. This is the controversy of this movie, is that these ideas are introduced, like these, let's call it subverting ideas are introduced inside of like kids shows and like movies. Yeah.
Do you think that these ideas in the Barbie movie are threatening? Because I think that's what other people were talking about.
Exactly right. So the things about this movie, like I said before, is really about how Margaret Robbie. What exactly? Because this ask any woman who likes this movie or say she plays with Barbie.
Yeah.
What does Barbie represent exactly?
To them, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But then you ask
impossible beauty standards.
Apparently impossible. But they got a fat Barbie.
They changed it.
Yeah, and I love Kate McKinnon's character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody did that to at least one of their Barbies.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my whole point, right? So, but Barbie is not about. See, that's the whole thing. When did they start putting these limits on themselves? When did they start putting expectations upon themselves? Barbie didn't put the expectation on them.
Yeah, she should have. Kate McKinnon's character, they should have green screened one of her hands off too.
Yeah,
because then I'd be like, "Oh, that was my daughter's Barbie." They totally just my daughter needs to chew at least one of the hands off.
Exactly.
Look, she's killed it since SNL. I love every role she gets thrown into.
Her
She's
so much.
Yeah, she's great. Great.
I do love a movie like this, though. If people, it's kind of for me like Hollywood's way of making up for not having enough women in certain roles, and then they're like, here's a movie where all of you get a role all at the same time, But it doesn't make up for decades, of portraying women as just a sex object, as just a secretary, as just a ditzy or just a mom. You get a whole lot of depth from some of these characters that are in completely different
who you don't get depth from? Every single Ken.
Right. But I don't find that threatening. I just think that that's the way that it was supposed to be portrayed in a funny movie. That was it made $1 billion, more than $1 billion,
Yeah, but that's because men went and watched this movie. See what I'm going? And that's the whole point. Like
but I didn't walk away from it going like, "Ooh, I feel so masculine. I gotta go out and spit." And
no. And that's what I'm saying. So, but what you're talking about right now is how, like, I would call it a feminist would think that a guy would be thinking, like, "Oh man, I can't believe this just affected my whole life."
Yeah,
it didn't.
I'm no longer a man.
Yeah, because all it did was, the point is, like, the issue with this movie is that it just proved every point that men would be talking about before.
On the other side of that, like, I don't think tomorrow, like, women are gonna start, farting like a chainsaw in public, sitting in a Denny's, like, I don't think it changed. Anything.
If you have farted like a chainsaw in public in a Denny's or any place, comments below.
Yeah, I think
we want to know.
But what I will say is that, like, so this you may be woefully underestimating modern women when you say that, right? You think to yourself that they don't fart in public. You think but these, I'll call it the current version of what we have of today, right? I want, in our minds, because we're old. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. We're all old.
He's 21.
All right, we're all old, and I'm saying right now, we are not seeing the same thing that the younger, like, version has. Like, I have. Well,
that's a fair point.
I have people in my family. I'm not putting anybody's, like, business out there. I have younger people in my family, and have you tried talking to like one of them, right? Not your son or not your daughter.
Yeah.
But try talking to a actual young person, right? I mean, like that's
for me, it's hit or miss, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, some seem very mature, very intelligent and driven, you know, and others really are still out there chasing butterflies.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, a movie like this for me changes nothing, you know, because women, personally, in my experience, I think women are stronger today. I think, you know, women are out there wanting to do more, you know, and I don't need a movie for propaganda. You know, for me to, you know, to be like, hey, open your eyes because women are smart. I'm like, well, women have been smart for a long time. Even when you look at like Mensa, there's more women. So they're the smartest, you know, thing on the planet.
I'm going to bring up a weird subject that I was going to bring up later, and we're just going to bring it perfect now. How many CEOs do you think have been females?
Honestly, not many. When you look at the reverse, because of how the male role has driven global society, women made choices, even if men pushed them to make those choices, but they took up that role to raise the children, you know, and tend the goats and the things, while men went out, you know, and chopped the wood and did the things, you know, and did the more labor intensive. When America was was growing industrially, you know, they didn't want to go out there and be in the mines, but there were a couple, you know, they wanted to be nurses and teachers and things like that, because if they were the ones, because the men didn't want to raise kids. Like me, I was a house dad. My wife and I actually have reverse roles, and I loved every minute of, you know, being home. I hated changing the diapers, and I hated waking up at 3 a.m, you know, when the kids were having the, you know, the cries and the things, but I'm going to cut you off
right there for the question, though. So one of the things that's been thrown around by women is when they're able to have kids, they want to just be able to transition right back in the workforce and basically take a break and be able to run their kids.
It's impossible.
So you found a way to still be just as successful as when you left. You're a successful person. You are a rarity in that aspect.
Yeah.
My problem is that women blame right now where they have to choose a career. Well,
yeah, because the bitter reality that nobody really wants to.
And these are stereotypes, by the way. Stereotypes.
These are, but sometimes an uncomfortable truth when you hear like it's a man's world,
or greater or lesser evil.
Or absolutely, is that it's a man's world. And when you look at even CEOs, you know, and you look at there's been very few females that have reached that level, and then perhaps some sabotage along the way, while some of them get fired very publicly. You know, when this mistake,
which is actually how the Barbie.
But yeah.
So do you know the situation of how her tax evasion stuff? So she actually, to avoid tax evasion, the Rita Perlman character, the vision and the ghost that has the office on the 17th floor that Will Ferrell refers to avoid the company going under, she signed over all her rights to her brother, and her brother basically took over the company from that point going forward. So she's a figurehead at best in this whole thing at that point.
It's kind of tough, you know, to talk on those. You know, there's still a lot of people that talk about, you know, like the glass ceilings and gender inequality, you know, in the workforce and things like that. You know, and if affirmative action should you know, encompass you know, gender as well, you know, because we are trying to be inclusive. And I think that's probably better in our society now. We are probably a little more inclusive today than we were 10 years ago versus 10 years from that and 10 years from that, you know, and the goal should be just like in a toy box to collect all 5, you know, you know, we would love to have at least one of everything, you know. You
talked about inclusivity there, and I'm going to bring up a perfect subject. Did you know that not all the women in the Barbie movie were born a woman?
No, I didn't.
That's right.
Do you want to guess?
Really?
If you know, don't say the answer before he does it. I obviously already know the answer to this.
No, I just thought they were all beautiful Barbies.
Do you know which Barbie is not a natural born woman? And we love everybody, but...
No, which one?
Just guess for me. Throw one out. Think about it in your head. I'll give you like a couple seconds here.
They'll just look like beautiful Barbies to me.
The Dr. Barbie. The Dr. Barbie is actually a direct rip Barbie. It is Laverne Cox.
Oh, I knew that. She was on Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Isn't that Laverne Cox? Yeah. I knew that. But even when Orange is the New Black, I didn't know that she was.
So sorry, I actually messed it up. My apologies.
I was gonna say that.
The actress's name I can't pronounce. It's like Hassa Ifer, or the actor, whoever she wants to identify. I'm assuming she identifies as a woman in the movie. But there was actually one transgender Barbie named that they did after Laverne Cox, the person you're talking about, the influencer, the stuff like that. So, but yeah. The doctor in the Barbie movie is a trans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Barbie.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Dr. Barbie. Yeah.
Dr. Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the one that screams when her feet don't fall.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But
I said, there was just a lot of forgettable parts. That, I liked the movie, but it just didn't resonate. As this, this amazing, like after school special, and is gonna, right all the wrongs of man, or anything like that. And if the two brain cells that I have in my head just weren't, smart enough to pick up on all the other subtleties for me, it was it was a funny movie that I just really didn't take very seriously.
Well, yeah, I understand that. And that's what I was talking about before. Like, the whole point of this movie is, I say point, excuse me, but how this movie portrays itself is the main problem, as I said before. So is the point.
Can you bring up a clip of
the antithesis?
Dr. Barbie?
Yeah, the antithesis. That's Dr. Barbie right there.
Go ahead, keep going.
Sorry. The one with the big hair, the big curly hair.
I'll zoom in. I'll show you in a second.
That one.
That one.
So, I had no idea. She's quite lovely.
We appreciate your performance, and again, we are all inclusive. We may seem like horrible people from time to time. We love everyone equally, and actually, I hate everyone equally. So it's all good. So anyway, TK, Xavier, I cut you off, man. Go ahead.
So, the point is, like, this movie tries to make you care about it. Right? Yeah. Like, as it gets toward the end. But then you find yourself going, like, you can't really care about a character like this because, as I said before, this character has literally disregarded everything. It's disregarded everyone around them. I want to say this is the same thing that happened in the what's the movie? Poor Things. How she goes out there, she disregards, basically just doing everything on her own. She figures it all out. But the difference is that Barbie.
If you haven't watched that episode, watch that episode.
Exactly. We'll link in the description.
Yep. Smash that subscribe and like button too.
Back that
comments
into
below.
The like and the subscribe button.
Yeah, but,
even if your comment is to flip TK off, or Xavier off in the whole process, then so be it.
So the point. The point behind this is that the movie tries to it stays light, right? And I'm not saying this is I hate to say it, but this is two movies back to back that you can consider 100% art. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is pure art form in its greatest form. Barbie movie is amazing as art, right? Because it has all the elements. It makes you think. It makes you talk about it. It makes you think what's going on, even though it's subtle enough. But then at the same time, the problem with though is the message.
Was Wheelchair Barbie also
a doll?
No, disabled. Did Wheelchair Barbie? Were they true to form?
You know what? I'll cross-reference that. I don't know that.
I would say probably.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome. I mean, if you're looking at addressing the gambit all the way across the board, and pushing the limits of beauty, like Barbie did, to put some some trans in there, heavy, thin, tall, short, every color of the rainbow in there. I think a movie like Barbie is the perfect platform to do something like that, because it is all about beauty. When you're whether that beauty standard is unattainable or not. They do address that in the movie, but that's also why I loved Kate McKinnon's Barbie. Was colored all over and whatnot. She was still beautiful. Yeah. I think there's something very special.
But remember, the reason why you remember her is because she's a memorable character. She memorable. For sure. Even though the rest of them are supposed to be memorable.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. She can act, though, too. Look at the people that have been in films. And
she is hilarious. I was still tuning into Saturday Night Live during Kate McKinnon's years. Everything she did ever made me laugh. So that's Becky Barbie.
Becky
is Wheelchair Barbie. Wheelchair Barbie is a kind of misnomer, though. The disabled doll is actually one of Barbie's countless friends, and her name is Becky. Unfortunately, Becky is no longer has a place in Barbie's world.
Okay. 1997 it was introduced.
Wow.
1997.
That was the first physically disabled Barbie.
Well, and on the other side of that,
Share with a Smile Becky is what they called it.
Oh, Share with a Smile? Okay. Share with a Smile Becky Barbie.
And you know what? I'm all for dolls that
The problem I have, even with like the Barbie lineup, is until somebody complained, all the dolls were white. Until someone complained, they didn't have it. It took years and years to introduce a doll like Wheelchair Barbie, and this is kind of the problem that you have, even with a movie like Barbie or something that Disney does, that whether it's the right or left that complains, oh, how come in Snow White, they've changed it, or Peter Pan, or whatever it is. If you're giving me a new story for inclusion, I'm for that. But if Peter Pan was white with red hair, well, then if you're going to remake Peter Pan again, which is tired, you're telling me that there's still a market for people that love Peter Pan that much? Remake, if you're, give me new characters that may be trans or may be gay or may be, somewhere else in the world. Give me new heroes that have these qualities
100%.
that I can get behind.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, all right, it is Peter Pan, and Peter Pan is not so much as because I'm not trying to split hairs. There's not splitting hairs.
I get it.
But what I mean is like. So Peter Pan is a character that has been known, for like
sure.
years,
But my point is, if you don't like Barbie, give me something else. Don't give me Barbie again. Give me something else that are young women and boys. There are young ladies and boys or whoever wants to play with the next lineup. Give me something new that is inclusive for everybody. Don't just exploit Barbie again. Don't just blame Barbie or praise Barbie. Give me something new. Give me something new that we can all get behind.
Right.
I think is a better way of trying to get the point of inclusion.
Well, see, that's kind of like the, you're opening the door, right? And I mean, like you're opening the door to. I wanted to see the Barbie. 100%. I wanted to see the Barbie movie. Yeah. When I saw the trailer, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
Like was pretty excited. 100% pretty excited about it, right? Mm-hmm. I started watching this movie, and it took a while to I ain't say like absorb it, but as I said before, the issue with this movie was I saw what people saw in it. I want to call it that way, right? Because like I said, she's the villain. The Barbies are the villain of this movie. This is the main problem of this movie.
Which glazed over for me because I didn't feel like there was a villain.
So think of it this way, right?
In this movie.
No, I can easily like identify them being villains. Mm-hmm. Barbie walks up to said daughter, the daughter out in the real world. What does the daughter immediately do to Barbie? She makes her cry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She makes her cry. Mm-hmm. This is a grown woman this is a kid, a child, a female, right? That makes a grown woman cry. That the mom is afraid of said daughter in this movie.
Would you say that that's when Barbie first got perspective that she was the villain and that's why she was actually crying?
No, she got perspective because she had never heard somebody say something harsh to her before. She got criticized to crying.
I felt like it was more of just a reality check that, you know, if you're simply living in ignorance and you're perpetuating a stereotype, you know, you really don't realize who you're hurting along the way. I don't really find that to be a villain. But if you're just not aware of what you represent,
no, that's okay, 100%. You know? But then, okay,
because a true villain would embrace that and then be like, who let this girl out of the kitchen?
And that was a daughter,
you know, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So the daughter was
she wanted to change.
The daughter
obviously
was the villain. Goes back to being the mom. The mom ruined the Barbie to send this way, right? Because her own dark thoughts had entered into a whole nother universe,
right?
Oh.
The Barbie verse.
The Barbie verse, right? From that point on, I'm just saying it. From that point on, all right. Like I said, she had already discarded Ken. She knows she came to a whole nother universe. With a partner. She abandoned him. Didn't care about him or his well-being to start off with, right? Because he was just a nuisance. So. The main part of this movie
is that
that's
Didn't you love that I had to look? That's how beautiful she is, because I was like, is it that one?
Yeah.
Is it Margot Robbie?
Yeah.
Is Margot Robbie trans?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She's quite lovely.
That's okay.
Once you see it though, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. And so what I'm saying is like, so at the
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, so the problem with, like I said,
I still just see a woman. Sorry.
In this movie is that they end up, right?
Yeah.
They end up basically making the Kens the villain of the movie, when in reality they are the most innocent people in this movie so far. Because what do Ken want in this movie?
They just want Barbie's attention, man.
No, they just want Barbie. That's it.
That's all they were made for.
That's it.
Right, but that's right. That's all they were made for. Barbie comes with Ken, you know. Or Ken comes with Barbie, or whatever it is.
Ryan Gosling makes that point in the movie too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, but that's not all men. You know, it just happens to be in this universe of what's going on. Like, I did not take it personally. You know.
No, I'm not saying that. But see, what I'm talking about is the under. It's like, so what people are upset about is the underlying theme of what I just said.
I understand
of the man and a woman not being able to be able to coexist together, right? Because she needs to be out in the world, figured out her own, and that she'll figure it out one day, right?
Right.
When she's 50,
sure,
80, 60,
right?
And then what happens then? So now is what? So the point is, like, this movie is about breaking up just a household in itself. That's just it. It's technically about breaking up households. That's the easiest way to put it. Like, I could say, like, you know, breaking up the what they call nuclear family. You know what I'm saying?
You think this movie led to divorces?
No, it's not about. No, it's not about leading.
Minus the logic and emotion comment. Yeah. So on top of that too.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my point, right? So it's about it's beyond self exploration. This goes into it's subtle enough that you don't see it, but if you see it, you can't unsee it, right? And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say all the time, these things you cannot not see, like, once they're there. Yeah. Because, like, to me it's too obvious, as I say, right?
Another perfect obvious joke in there is when they go to the male construction scene. And they're like, you know what? She goes in and she's got oogled and she doesn't understand anxiety, which is funny. Yeah. That's the first thing that she
experiences.
The first emotion is anxiety, which women, I'm sorry if that's the thing. I don't know what anxiety feels like. It's just not a thing. But when she goes, let's go get some positive female energy and let's go to the men's construction site, and she gets the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's like the joke's great, and then you go back with, oh shit, and how would I feel if I was a woman walking by a male construction site? Or the other way, what if would the females ogle me? Would they be like, hey Nitro, you looking good in those shorts? Show us some booty.
Cold shower. Gross.
Yeah.
Don't treat me like that.
Would you feel that you would be oogled by a female construction worker?
I wouldn't care. I don't care.
You wouldn't care?
I don't.
Honestly.
Like 100%, I don't care.
I would go home and tell my future wife, you know what happened? Some female construction workers oogled me on the way walking by, and I feel that my personality is more rewardable now.
100%, I don't think females could even, they don't have, if females told you every time they get hit on, they couldn't even open their mouth to you.
No.
100%.
You want anxiety? That would induce anxiety. That's how I get anxiety.
That's what I'm saying.
They get free muffins at Starbucks.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the difference between females and at some point. But that's the difference between females and males, though, right?
Yeah.
But
I actually pay more for my coffee at Starbucks. I've never been hit on in my entire life.
And that's what I'm talking about.
If you want coffee here, it's double.
Yeah, there's a giant difference. And this
call it the penis tax.
That is a gross man.
Yeah.
Have you paid your penis tax today, sir? No? Well, you will.
And that's I don't know. I just stop right there.
And if New York introduces a penis tax on top of all the rest of the taxes they did, I feel bad for everyone already.
Yeah,
so
I
please
honestly
no penis taxes.
Missed a lot of those subliminals. I got the stereotypes loud and clear. I really did. And that's why I find them funny. Because we were supposed to laugh at ourselves, about those stereotypes and things.
Yeah.
But some of those subliminal messages I absolutely missed.
And that's what I was talking about. So the whole song about just being kin, right? Because reality being, remember, every one of those men, like in this Barbie universe, are, let's call them well above average.
Sure.
Right? You get what I'm saying? Perfect. You can call them perfect human beings or perfect like dudes in the shape.
Yeah. But then is fat.
But then somewhere in there's a fat Barbie.
Yes.
There is no fat Ken. Okay? There is no fat Ken in this movie.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that if there was a fat Ken.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me because aren't Ken supposed to come in all shapes and sizes? Right?
Well, yeah, they should, and maybe after this, Mattel will come and model one after me. All right,
Mattel, please, if you want to make dolls of us, we will say yes.
Ken.
Yes. You can have the Nitro version, the Tankalicious, and the X on the Xavier version.
But
hides in the closet and eats 6 Cinnabon Ken. So right over here.
Let's progress the plot a little bit where we're talking about. So we're already through. Barbie goes through, finds out that she's becoming normal. She is dealing with things she never dealt before. They introduce her to Weird Barbie, which was just stated perfectly played by Kate McKinnon. Also, how do you run on your tiptoes? I know it's a plot point, but it weirded me out that I sat there and I was like, "How do you run on your tiptoes?"
They probably used a stunt.
No, she never ran. So that was it. She got mad 'cause she couldn't run on her heels, so she just fell flat or on her tippy toes. I knew it was just a thing for the progressive plot, but whatever, it's fine. So she goes on a journey in the new world. They meet a couple different things. Again, love the outfits. The outfits are actually amazing. Mm-hmm. So the portal, I love the portal too. Some of these simple little jokes hit though. Some of these things just add.
This is a funny movie. This is a very funny movie.
Yeah. Yes.
My point to the movie was that they want you to cheer for the villain in this movie. Yeah. That's the whole problem with this movie.
I don't think, and that's where you and I differ there, because I don't view Barbie as a villain. I just think that if she's going through a transition, I think they want you to root for her because she's becoming aware of the mistakes that have happened in the past about faking an impossible standard of beauty, and what you have been portrayed as to generations of little girls.
All right, so I think
it's more of a transition.
So what you're saying? I'm gonna ask
empowerment.
I'm gonna ask you one question, right?
Okay.
End of the movie. What does Barbie do?
Dude, I don't remember. You're gonna have to tell me.
She gets what? She goes to a OBGYN.
Okay.
First of all, there's multiple.
I don't remember that.
Let me allude to a couple things that they definitely.
I don't
remember
talk about how but we spoil everything, right?
Yes, we spoil everything.
So she goes to an OBGYN and they find out she's pregnant?
No.
They just.
That's not it. That's not what it's about.
The entire movie, they talk about not having genitals.
Is it just flat?
No.
No. It looks just like Ken's?
No. So that's not a part. That's not a point of it. Oh. The point is she goes to see an OBGYN. You keep going.
Ken's is a bulge, by the way. There's a bulge in Ken.
Yeah.
If you look at the doll, there's actually a bulge.
Mine's very similar. I unfortunately understand that Just the balls.
So keep going. What you was gonna say? So for the point is
the multiple times in this movie they referred to they not have genitalia. They can't reproduce. They're just a reproduction of what a woman or a male could be or should be, or the symbolism thereof. And they turn her into, when they go to the OBGYN and they flip it around, that she's actually exploring having a baby, which she's doing something that is physically impossible for a doll to do, that they've stated not to do, but they're doubling back on that whole message of Barbie that women can do everything. And women, you can't do stuff. There's something I want to talk about with sports with this. You can do stuff, but there's certain limitations to stuff. And telling someone that they can do absolutely anything that they want at this day of age is the worst message that you can pass along, because it warps their fragile little frickin' minds.
I beg to differ. Caitlin Clark just beat Pistol Pete's all-time scoring record in college basketball. Shout out to number 22, I think is her number. I don't watch a lot of
she's a great shooter.
College basketball.
She actually had...
spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Who did she participate against, women or men?
Women.
Okay, so if she was competing against men every day, how well would she do?
I doubt that she would. I mean, some of these experiments have been done along the way, but that's why we have female sports. We are separated by categories.
Empowerment is great, but perspective is needed.
Speed.
Exactly. So do you believe that...
I do not want to see Margot Robbie getting tackled by anybody in the NFL.
No, they're actors. I mean, that's not... So do you think that a WNBA team could beat a high-end male high school boys team,
like a McDonald's All-American team?
Yes.
No. There's just no way, the speed, the physicality, and whatnot. But women against women. And did you watch the All-Star game?
Yeah. The shootout was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry still eating with nobody in his face.
What ball did she shoot with?
Well, she shot with a woman's ball because she's a woman. She didn't shoot.
She shot with a male's ball.
Did she?
She shot with the male's ball.
Oh.
Did she shoot from the women's lines?
I think she did shoot from the women's line,
yes. Though. There's my other catch with that.
But if it's muscle memory, it wouldn't be fair if she actually shot from the male's line, And I think taking away from that is not the right thing to do. I think the fact that she shot 3 pointers.
No, I'll celebrate it, that it was a great competition.
Yeah.
But if she was being guarded by a man while she's doing that,
but that's the thing. I mean, even with her being like 6'1", if Kevin Durant was in her face, he's got like a 9-foot reach all by himself. I mean, if they're not used to shooting, if their muscle memory is not used to shooting an arc like that, the percentages go down. I don't know if I could name a single female that would be able to compete on the male level. Competitively, and hit the All-Star game.
Let me flip that
consistently.
What do you feel about, because you have kids,
sure,
about them competing against someone that was another gender at the start?
If it were up to me, I just don't think, even with hormone replacement and things like that, the problem I have is you don't see women transitioning to men trying to compete with men. You only see men transitioning to women trying to compete with women, which is kind of counterproductive if you ask me. If they weren't able to compete at the male level, but then they can dominate, at the female level, I find that to be unfair, because you're taking away scholarships from biological females, that were supposed to be in a biological female
I'll put a name on it. To me, it's a Title IX violation. To me, it's violating the whole purpose of Title IX and not giving female their own sports.
Well,
because if we made everything the same sport, here's the catch. Here's the kicker. There wouldn't be a female on most teams.
Sure, but I'd love to. I would watch a Trans Olympics. I would watch trans wrestling. I would watch trans basketball or trans football.
So it's interesting you said that. We just watched a video about as well. There's going to be an Olympic Games that's going to encourage cheaters.
No, it's not cheaters. Everybody gets to use steroids.
I mean, that's
So we're going to see just how high somebody can jump, and we're going to see if they can lift an entire tractor.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And the billionaires backing it, and it's coming to a station soon.
But do you think all this was rooted because Barbie's beauty standard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was about to say we need to go back.
Well, so here's how I
Barbie.
rooted back through. It's unfair perspective in your own self and your own abilities. The main concept, to tell a doll that she can become a woman is insane to me. It's like telling me that I can go run a 4-minute mile now out of the get-go. I can't go do that.
For me, like you're drawing that parallel into, talking
the
to
real world.
our youth now that may be confused or wanting to transition. And me, I really didn't catch that.
Okay.
No.
If to speak on something like that, if you're just trying to get people to be comfortable in their own skin, and you're seeing, and you can look at that as a transgender youth and you go, well, Barbie did it, well, I can do it too. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not schooled up enough on a topic like that, to actually have an opinion about it. All I know is I want our youth to be happy. And if a movie like this helped somebody grow, if it helped a man realize he's too toxic, and if it helped a woman realize that she can be stronger, well, then mission accomplished. And I think the $1.4 billion that actually says that this movie did not only entertain, but it did resonate with the audience that they were trying to reach. Because the proof is in the numbers. 1.4 billion. That's a lot. That means some people probably went out and saw it 2 or 3 times.
I mean, I've seen it 3 times now this. I mean, and on HBO Max. So I mean,
and I'm gonna watch it again because I think some of these points that you bring to me, Xavier, are worth exploring. And maybe I should have keyed more into that. I'm gonna try not to turn my brain off again and go like,
no. So that's my whole point.
Dumb.
Well, that's my point. It's not about you turning your brain off. So. Wouldn't put it this way, right? Like I watched funny enough, I watched the Professional, Leon the Professional.
Yeah, I love
the
that
other
movie.
day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I can clearly say about that movie? That it's a movie.
Yeah,
that's it. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
There's no underlying theme.
There's a strange attraction from a child, to an adult, and I guess there was a book.
You see, I'm going. No, it's not. I don't even. Not even get into the whole concept. But the point is, like, it was a movie. It
was a movie, right?
It was just a movie, right?
That's how I feel about Barbie.
Yeah,
but I wasn't really supposed to learn anything.
Well, no,
about myself.
Well, see, that's what I mean, right? It's not about.
I think you can though. I think this is a movie where you can learn.
If I did learn something about myself, I'm more like Kate McKinnon's Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah,
if you can do that right now, you put your leg on the wall right now.
No, just in the sense that I'm screwed all over.
Yeah,
but somebody still loves me.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like
loves you, Tank.
What I'm saying is like this movie. Well, say the current day movies, right? The current modern day movies, they can't just let you watch the movie. Well, they have to just throw something in there that just hammers away at like whatever the idea is. It's like the concept of, what I like when I watch fantasy? I like it to be fantasy.
I like to be fantasy.
I like it to be fantasy. Yes. That's it. I don't want
Do you think Barbie hits too close to home?
No, I think you mean like in real world?
Yeah.
Barbie is the real world.
Yeah.
And that's the whole problem with Barbie. And when I say it's the real world, it is the actual, I'm going to call it like knockout, drag out fight.
Yeah.
That is being like, it is the knockout, drag out fight that is being expressed through social media in real life, right? And this is what it is. So it's basically a movie that is showing the pit between men and women, like only through social media. I don't know how it is in the real world, but I'm just going to say, but social media, I'm not even calling it a window to the real world. It is only a window to whatever, however people see their world as, right?
Perception.
It's pure perception.
Self-perception.
It is pure perception. Because if you don't take social media seriously, you can be just like everybody else. Yeah, I mean, the point is like, I don't take social media seriously because I know I don't exist on social media.
Well, sure, but the trolls will eat you alive.
But no, but that's the whole concept of all of it, right?
We like trolls. No. Pay the troll tax.
But that's the whole point. The whole point behind all of this is that
if you care too much, though, the trolls will eat you.
And that's what I'm saying. But that's why I go like, but why do you care, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, why do you care? Why can't you just live your life?
Well, I think it's all about approval. You know.
See, and that's what I'm
constantly looking for each other's approval.
And that's what I mean. They're looking for approval.
Ken is
not only exactly. So Ken, all he wants is just to be with this one beautiful woman. That's it. Mm-hmm. Just please, just look my way. I just want maybe a hug, right? Yeah. Maybe a kiss. Yeah. But you know what she does at the end of the day? She evicts him from the place and then leaves. Yeah. You see him going to she evicts him from the house and then leaves.
Yeah. Let me go back to my original question. Where do the Barbies or where do the Kens live? They don't care. They don't care. Like he said, he kicks her out. She says, no, go home now. He has no home to go to. The Kens don't have homes. Mattel has never built a home
Barbie
for Ken.
House,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and Ken lives in the
beach. He sleeps like a homeless person on the side of the beach with the rest of the Kens for Barbie to show up the next day and clean up the beach. That's the only place Ken can go. He has no place to go.
It's Barbie's dream house.
Yeah, exactly. That's why she stresses that line in the movie.
Mojo Casa Dojo.
Yeah. And that's why she stresses that line in the movie. She's like, it's Barbie's.
And that's why
dream house.
He plays it back to her later and says it's Ken's Mojo Casa Dojo, which I will buy. If you, I was still been looking for.
If they make a Mojo Casa Dojo, you're gonna get
somewhere on the set behind us. right here, right there, sitting right there.
Yeah.
Also, the fedora, or what's the thing that thing called that he wears?
You talking about the coat?
Fedora's a hat.
Yeah, fedora's a hat. Yeah.
What's the? I want one of those. I want to get in shape like Vin Diesel and just walk around with one of those. And by the way, Ryan Gosling killed it.
Yeah.
On the physical level here, that man went all out. He definitely looked like there's no shot where he looks fat. I want to touch on this too because this has been bothering me ever since. We watched some random podcast. We're going to talk about other people. But on a woman there, she said Ryan Gosling was average. And to me, he's the definition of the average man, correct? That's what
she said.
That was her outcome. And I cannot concept that. That's perspective.
Average.
That's the problem with self-perception and social media and all that stuff that he's talking about right there.
Will Ferrell isn't average.
Sure, but he's
like if you're talking about like physique, you know,
I'm saying
he's not average for like career and accomplishment stuff. I mean, that man's one of the greatest comedians ever.
Like,
I put him in
Will
the top 10.
Ferrell looks like a dad, with the dad bod.
But see, that's what I mean. Right? So the point is like at the end of the day, when you see the term like average, it's like why do people the first thing that go is looks? Think about that for a second. They don't take anything else until you see them going. They take nothing else.
Only talking about looks.
Yeah, they take nothing else into the whole equation.
Right.
And that's the main issue with that statement was you was talking about before, right? Yeah. Like I said, there's nothing average at all about Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell kills. Will Ferrell
he's especially in the comic the comedians out there and whatnot. Yeah, he's one of the funnier men, actors or one of the funnier persons alive out there. But if he hit on me and if him or Ryan Gosling were to hit on me, I think I'd probably choose Ryan Gosling in a heartbeat.
If Will Ferrell or Ryan Gosling are ever available to come hit on Tank, please come on the show. Hit on Tank.
I'm married, so
still hit on him.
Stand back, boys. This is a taken man.
So just to progress where we're at, so she goes in the real world, and things start to switch. Now, one of the big things in the real world that stuck out with me is, where did Skipper go? There's a plot hole. If we're talking about a plot hole, where did Skipper go? They make a big deal about talking about this has happened before. The last one was Skipper. And then Alan makes it a point. Alan makes it a point saying that all the NSYNC people, including Justin Timberlake, are Alans.
No,
and they escaped the real words.
No, they were Kens that escaped.
No, they're out.
No, he said they were Kens.
Maybe I misunderstood.
No, you misunderstood. No, he's like you know what
Lance
happened when? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and so does Justin. So I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, the Kens escaped.
But where did Skipper go? Skipper escaped. Skipper's not into Barbie Land. We just see Skipper anywhere and any other thing. And where did Skipper go? Did Skipper just magically disappear? Did Skipper become a person? They don't even touch on it. It just bothered me that they make a point saying this happened with Skipper, and then we don't know who Skipper is.
Yeah.
She didn't exist. I love the Will Ferrell CEO part. That plays into your illusion of how stupid men are. There are no smart men in this entire film.
Loved Will Ferrell's character, and it was so over the top, stereotypical. Who let this woman out of the kitchen? Kind of, masculine, toxic. All the things hit so perfectly.
Put her back in a box.
Right.
It's all the same,
guys. Or am I just missing something?
No, that movie. I mean, like at this point, it was just the point. It was too dumbed down to think it was even an option. Yeah, It's too blatant.
Right. That might have been the only one where I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. It was. It's supposed to be blatant. Yeah.
Women should know their place. They should, be making me sandwiches and staying pregnant. Like this is. Those old world mindset, where women should have been barefoot and pregnant and things like that, we don't need their opinion. Because you remember way back in the day, anytime a woman said something smart, we would call them a witch and burn them at the stake. So we're trying never to go back. Oh my God, that's got to be a witch. And then we put rocks in her pockets and throw her in the river. Guess she wasn't a witch because she didn't float, but now she's dead. We don't want to go back to that. We never should have been there in the first place. But like, if you're talking about the proverbial box, Will Ferrell's character is absolutely talking about getting women back to that. Do any of us, honestly, should anybody want that today? Absolutely not. There's no possible way. But that's why, like, when I look at a movie like this, I didn't look at that as some sort of metaphor, like, oh yeah. And any man that cheered, like, yeah, let's get her back in the box, probably sneaks, coconut rum into the movie theater in the first place. It's not even a real man drink anyway, so I don't find, like the toxic opinion to be the majority, and that's why, those that really complain, like, oh, this is so threatening to men. That's not threatening to me, because maybe, I don't know, maybe those aren't real men, man. I just didn't get where this outrage was coming from.
That's what I said. I don't think it was so much as a threat to men. They just saw it as like a attack on. Because remember,
but isn't Turnabout fair play?
Well, no. My point is like
somebody finally made a woman's movie that talked a lot of trash about men. And
no. That's what I'm saying.
Men hated it.
It's not about. My point is like the movie. It's not about them attacking like men. It had to do with like, because remember at the end of the day, Barbie was supposed to be a child's movie, a kid's movie.
I disagree. I don't think this was ever meant to be a kid's movie.
See,
how could you pull off?
I think even the jokes were adult rated.
So,
and they weren't innuendo jokes like Toy Story. Like it wasn't. I don't think this was supposed to be for kids. I think it was actually supposed. The demographic I think they were looking at was like 12 to 50.
So I'm gonna tell you something, Frank. All right. When I was going to see. It's another movie that came out during the exact same time.
Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm. And to me,
no. It was
12-year-old in this realm is old enough to understand.
So
they're aware of themselves.
Yeah. So
they are not a child.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring it up because like the parents were there.
Was this rated PG-13?
This is PG. This is PG.
Is it PG?
This is PG.
So everybody can watch it.
No, they did. Yeah. That's what I'm pointing. Is like that's
well,
what
I hope
happened.
Little girls below the age of 12 also watched it too.
That's what I'm saying.
No, PG-13. PG-13.
Okay.
Yeah, good call.
That's what I'm saying. There were entire like groups. That took their kids to watch this movie. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. And I'm telling you right now, they wasn't 13. That's what I'm saying. Right.
So you think there's a level of indoctrination? Because people could use this to indoctrinate people in a certain way if you wanted to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not
opposed
I hate using the term like indoctrination. I'm just saying like
why it happens every day.
No, because it's one thing to say because I don't know. It's like a word that gets used so much that often. I guess.
Yeah,
that's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's like overused word.
Do you think the little girls that watch this movie are going to grow up and hate men?
No, I don't. I honestly don't even think that. The problem is they don't know where their own ideas are coming from.
Right, and I don't want to raise sheeple right? either.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. You, it's not about like how this movie is, or we get the jokes.
Yeah,
I understand that. It's about at the end of the day.
Yes.
Do you know what a villain looks like?
Right.
This is what I'm going. This
movies can be dangerous in that way.
Yes. Yeah,
they can be.
Yeah,
like a greater or lesser evil.
Like a greater or lesser evil.
Yeah.
I personally did not find Barbie that way, but I'm gonna watch it and look for those things a little more, because I think it's obvious that I missed the point. If there was a bigger a grander arc in this, which I know there was because I saw how much outrage there was. There were great. It was reviewed really well, but if you look at how some of the others, the minority in this situation were just like, in the indoctrination, or it was this, or the underlying, devil of it was in the details.
Right.
And here I am just going, dude, it was pink and funny. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because but that's the whole idea. That's what you're supposed to do when you go to the movie. That's what you expect to do.
Too seriously.
You expect to just go in, turn your brain off for a little while, and go on about
enjoy my popcorn.
And that's what I'm saying. But the problem with this movie is that to me, it was just too blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
It was just so over the top, blatantly obvious that it That's what I say. Like a lot of stuff, it feels as though like I'm like the only one seeing this stuff. But
no, brother, you're not.
Yeah,
just because you're leading the conversation doesn't mean you're bringing up points that I guarantee everyone sitting out here listening is either listening to your point and saying,
"Oh yeah, I saw that too."
It's the same thing. So you're not on island,
and that's what I'm saying, right? Because like I said, it's not. That's why I don't use the term indoctrination, because it's about like you need to be the origin of your own idea.
And to be very clear about that, it's not like any one of us tomorrow is going to go out and start selling tinfoil hats.
Yeah.
It's all don't write that down. It's not on there.
Oh shit.
But on the other side of that, I do think that you do bring up a really, really valid point. What was the message? If you do have children, under the age of 13, 12 and under that are watching a movie like this, what are they gleaning?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what goes back to the end of the movie. She goes, so this is a character that has fought tooth and nail against
to succeed, but then she wants to have a baby.
To go against, not just that, but with her, let's call it a counterpart, right? Mm-hmm. Her opposite counterpart, which is a man. Mm-hmm. And yet at the end of the movie, she goes in to get an OBGYN inspection because maybe she wants that. Maybe she doesn't want to have a kid.
She still wants that option.
You see I'm going with this, right? Like, what?
How do dolls have kids?
What message is that sending?
But when she crosses over, did they ever show? I want to say they showed like Ken doesn't have anything.
They never showed it.
No, they never showed it.
They just implied it.
Yeah, just implied.
So when she makes the trip with Rita Perlman at the end of the movie, where they talk about this metaphysical, and this is the only way I'm going to sum it up that is possible. That if somebody wants to come at us with this. She transcends reality and comes from a doll to a female.
Right, like the Velveteen Rabbit. It's basically the Velveteen Rabbit being told in a different
Snowman.
Yeah, absolutely. If you love something enough, it becomes real.
Yeah. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Yeah. These are just modern retellings of stories
same story
that have been told for years, just in a different.
To me, it's a crappy telling of Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. It's
wow.
A $1.4 billion pile
it is.
Of doo-doo.
It's just Pinocchio.
Pinocchio above this movie?
Yes, Pinocchio is amazing.
Pinocchio is amazing, but
Pinocchio is amazing.
Girl Nocchio is not Xavier's cup of tea.
I mean, I'm not judging you. I'm taking it in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like that guy on Love Is Single that I was watching last night, unfortunately, in the background going, I'm just going to take it in. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just processing. I'm processing what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect it. That's all.
Yeah, I know. That's
I didn't expect it.
Yeah, because like I don't mind like original ideas.
Yeah,
I appreciate.
This felt original to me until you bring up like the parallels of other writing.
Yeah, but like I said, this really is art. I mean, I can't like my point is like I hate bringing that term up, but there are very few movies like now that are art. I hate that we just reviewed 2 movies that happen to be art, because now it sounds like I'm just using that word too often, right?
There'll be more coming.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, this is a true...
Which also, while he's talking about that, if you have any movies that you want us to review below, put it down below in the comments. We're always open. It's an interactive journey with all of us. Sorry.
Exactly. But yeah, because this is
I love any excuse to eat popcorn.
Yeah, this is like,
He loves popcorn.
this makes you like experience it. Like what really took this movie off was the Ryan Gosling part, the singing part. Because not only do you not expect it, but it's so personal. Yeah. The song itself is so personal about, it is true. You're talking about like a perfect person in the real world. There's no other to put it. Ryan Gosling being a perfect person in the real world.
10.
A 10 out of 10. And for some reason, he can't even get a look.
Yeah, I can sing it.
Yeah. He can't even get a look from the person that he loves.
I need to look up the copyright violations of whatever, so how much I can actually play in the background of this while we're talking. But it just picture it queuing in the background right now while we're talking about it.
You know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I call it. It's not, I don't mean, it's not about being contradictory per se. It's just that, as I'm saying, the problem with these movies is that they have this, I don't know, it's this thing that's running in the background that's make you question where are these ideas coming from, and why is this being normalized? That's the second thing. Why is being single, having kids, trying to be normalized, right? Why is that a thing?
Being single and having kids?
Single, having a child. That's Barbie's whole setup for the next movie, right? She goes into OBGYN to see what's going on. I mean, she didn't care about it before. She didn't even want a hug before. She didn't want a peck. You don't need to have a thing in order to experience, you know what I'm saying, in order to experience love.
Right.
She was loveless in this whole movie. And yet somehow she's going to a physician to make sure her lady parts work. Why does she care about them? Unless she's planning on using them.
To have a baby.
That's right. She's going to use them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm hoping?
What's that?
When I put dolls together, Ken was always with nobody. I don't think I never had a Ken. I probably had a Barbie or two, or would think about Barbie, about their mate.
Ran out of Transformers to buy.
Well, I mean, yeah. Oh, that's a good option. You know who I'm hoping impregnated her? A Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Just saying.
Well,
plot.
Well, you can't.
I think that's a Mattel too, right?
No. The problem
is that a Hasbro?
Okay.
No. The problem with that is that now you just did, because you just said Teenage
Mutant Ninja Turtle.
How old is Barbie?
That's fine. The women like to go young now.
Yeah, but not to the point where they want to go to jail.
Teenage could be 18.
Yeah, teenage is everything.
Teenage could be 18.
We're not saying prepubescent Ninja Turtles.
Right.
I'm saying
Splinter's old as dirt.
No, you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right. You meant 18
of
age. You didn't mean 15
whatever
14.
state you're in, 15 or above, 16, 17, 18.
Not a tween age. Definitely not 12 or 13. Tweenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
That's good. That's good. There's one other thing I definitely want to talk about.
Nothing about the physique of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that suggests a young. Those are man muscles on those turtles.
Turtle muscles.
Turtle power.
That it is, turtle power.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from Barbie that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is somehow better than Barbie.
The worst part... well, I mean, it is, but...
It hasn't made $1.4 billion. This was a hit.
I'm just, Ken is no longer playing in my head now. It's going Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, power. Now that's in my head nonstop. I'm not able to get that out of my head. And hopefully that's all in your heads now, too.
It's already out of mine.
It's in line. So just progressing the movie, she goes on the whole voyage. Ken becomes the superhero.
We've already been through the whole movie already.
Yeah, but we're just... I find it interesting that the only reason the Kens lose is because we're men. Like, the Kens all bonded each other. Like, think of that war scenes, right? The Kens create a whole new society.
Yeah.
And they could have all these great laws and all that stuff. We don't know. It looks like they're trying to do good things for the Barbies. And then the Barbies play the same way every other single war has been started. The Hell in a Troy. Start a war, so the men go to war. But during war, the men bond. And now the men have that strong bond with each other. And they're brothers. They're linked. They were brothers at arms at the end of that. And they could have had a great government. And it never happened. We were robbed of that possible potential. Mm-hmm. I'm saddened. I don't know if that's sad. You guys, it's sad to me. Like, and the Barbies just sitting there laughing from distance. That's just men.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they used like the love of women against them.
Ken still needs Barbie.
He doesn't at the end.
Well, but
he does. No, he does.
Ken still needs Barbie.
That was my whole point. See, Ken did still need Barbie, even though he knows
the other Ken
she betrayed. No,
not the Ryan Gosling.
No, Ryan Gosling. Barbie still loved Barbie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but where does Ryan Gosling go? He doesn't get a good ending.
No, he does not.
He goes back to the beach with the homeless people.
He gets kicked out. That's my whole point. He gets kicked out of a house that she doesn't even need anymore. That won't even be occupied.
Yeah, that's true.
You see how sad? That's my point. You see how sad it. But at the end, he still loved Barbie, and that's what makes like.
Ken needs Barbie.
Exactly. It's not he needs Barbie.
Mm-hmm. The anti-Ken rhetoric. One of those buzzwords that they want us to go around with. The patriarchy is so evil. Look out around that corner. The patriarchy might be there. But it's not really a thing. I mean, go ahead. Like, what am I insane?
I'm not threatened by any of it, honestly. You know,
there's not threatened, but it's just the awareness of what they're trying to make terms that wasn't a term.
Spinning any narrative. You know, at this point, you know, takes me away from having original thought.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's why, you know, when I watch a movie like this, you know, and instead of trying to be indoctrinated into whatever subliminal message may or may not be there, you know, it's the same thing, you know, when you look at like Beyonce's Super Bowl halftime show or Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show. Oh, that was this or that was that, according to a conspirator out there. But look, I don't buy it. I just think she was really pretty and dances nice. Thank you for entertaining me for 15 minutes. You know, it's the same with this. You know, I was able to turn my brain off for 2 hours, laugh at some jokes, look at some pretty, backgrounds. You know, and some pretty people, and watch the end credits, finish my popcorn, and go home. You know, I just don't find there to even be a reason to be threatened if you're doing your job as a parent, you know, raising the next generation of strong young woman and strong young boy, teaching them the difference between right and wrong. It wouldn't be up to a movie. It would be up to the parents if we were doing our jobs.
Fair point.
You know, to make sure that the next generation is healthy, understands the difference between right and wrong, understands the difference between inclusion and exclusion. You know, the rest of it kind of takes care of itself, to be honest with you. I trust our children. I don't trust some of us that are raising those children. You know, it's you know, because when you do leave it up to the kids, they don't care how tall or short or fat or thin when you're in kindergarten. They just care that you have the ball. Can I play too? You know, they don't care. You know, the rest of those things that happen along the way, you know, you have your parents that say that a woman should be this, or, you know, that a girl should play with that, you know, and being able to watch a movie like this that perhaps does have a warning in it, you know, if we don't want to continue down this road, you know, that maybe we should change, you know, Barbie, but maybe we should. You know, you're talking about an impossible beauty standard, something that has even forced people in the real world to do plastic surgery things, you know, to thin their waist and you know, change
maybe
their
even
face
the basis.
And,
we could make a different video in the concept of this on Barbie being the basis of what plastic surgery is.
You know, those impossible beauty standards. You know, but I hope that when children have questions, you know, that our parents are answering them fairly. You know, I hope that you know, there's that even with a movie like this, and I do have faith that, you know, when you look at a movie like this, is it was meant to be entertainment, and if it did have, you know, if it tackled some tough subjects, you know, I hope that people paid more attention to them than I did. You know, because I just looked at old stereotypes and going like, oh, yeah, women used to belong in the kitchen, didn't they? Like that's not, it's not really like, no, Frank, you missed the point again. Like that's really not, what they're, what we're going for here. It's obvious that.
But that's what we're going here at Great Wrestle Believers. That's why we do this.
Right.
So,
and that's why, spinning that narrative that, that was old news. This is new. This is what women can be now. This is where men were. And if you want to stay homeless on the beach, and you're going to act a certain way, you're not going to get a strong woman, if, but then there might be a whole team of men at the end that are like, we don't need Barbie. We can just bump our bulges together. I don't know.
You don't know what's going.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. Yeah, I don't know what Ken on Ken looks like.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's a whole different other day.
But
I'm not prepared for that one.
But even that isn't a threat to me.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
That's why watching a movie like this for pure entertainment versus looking for those underlying details. There's a lot there, and I think that's why it made $1.4 billion is because it really reached a really broad audience looking for entertainment and answers.
Insert the rainboner of power again. No innuendo. Possibly. While looking at the rainboner.
Yeah.
Mr. Tank, what are you looking at here?
I say the movie is wonderful. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are going to rank that so much higher, and but for me, because there was as good as I thought it was, there's so much that I forgot, so it didn't resonate with me, in this way. Like, do I think a lot of people should see it? Well, I think a lot of people have seen it. And on a day where it's raining and the power, and if it was on TV, I wouldn't change the channel. But it's not something on a rainy day where I'm by myself and I go, you know what? I'm not going to watch Braveheart today. I'm going to watch Barbie. It's not one of my go-to favorites, but I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was a good movie for what it was.
All right. Xavier?
As I said before, I think I'm ranking it as sensational. And I'm leaving it as sensational because I still believe that every man should see this movie because it reveals the nature of what it is they're going up against, which is a lot. And I'm just saying, from programming to society, because a lot of like messages in this movie are all about programming, and you can only know what you're aware of. I think that's this movie makes you aware of a lot of things. You may think to yourself, you sitting across this person, and this is their own. As I said before, this is their own. Like, this is just them being them. But you don't know that this is a script that they're using and they're playing against you. So at the very least, this movie is sensational. Not only that, because like I said before, this is a truly this is real art. This is real art on display. The choreography, the dancing, Ryan Gosling. The movie is supposed to be Barbie, but instead this is Ken. This movie should be called Ken. And I'll just stop right there.
That's pretty deep for a movie about dolls.
I was gonna say, man, you moved me here. Like, I was gonna stand up and salute your. I have to follow that.
I just saw dolls.
Jeez, man.
This man over here has coherent thoughts in here and there. What did you think, Frank? I like dolls.
Here's the lesson.
The dolls you think.
Mine is gonna be less deep than yours. I'm gonna say, I love the movie. It was great. Am I going to watch it again voluntarily for the third time? No. If I see it on TV, am I going to watch it? No. But am I going to listen to I'm Just Ken every time it comes up in my Apple Music and listen to it and be amazed? Yes. I'm going to sing along with it every single word. And we're going to get our Just Ken Enough sweatshirts. Mattel, if you're watching this and you can hook us up,
just get one.
Double XL.
Mattel, sponsor our content.
Yeah, sponsor our content. Just get one.
XL, double XL. 2 XLs, double XL.
I love Mattel. I love Mattel.
But I do too. I mean, I'll play with a doll right now the entire time. Every review go like this, going doop 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 doop. Actually, one of these might be Mattel up here.
I know, right?
Anyway, I'm into wonderful, sensational. I think you guys are spot on with that. Again, I enjoyed myself. It was great. It's a great date movie as long as you shut up when you're listening to it and you go, oh yeah, those were great plots, and you just you go through it. I'm not mad at the movie. I'm glad it was made. I'm glad it made all that money, and I really hope they're not dumb enough to make a sequel. You will ruin the whole concept of the movie and go forward. So, with that being said, we'll break it sensational, wonderful. So now going forward to our best of show, what's better? The only two things we have to compare right now: who do we put one? Who do we put two? Poor Things or Barbie?
I think there's no contest there. I think Poor Things is better than Barbie.
Xavier?
Yeah, I say Poor Things is better.
And I would 100% go with you guys. So we'll slide it right in under Poor Things, outside the rainbow and her boner. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that moment. You've been wonderful. You like what you see, smash that subscribe, like, always comments. We'll respond to them as soon as we can. This is an interactive journey. Thank you for joining us. You guys have a great day.
See ya!
See ya! Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings the program to its unfortunate end. If you liked or hated it so much you can't wait to see what we say next, smash that subscribe and like button. Join the family. Join the ride.